Hundreds of Israeli reservists joined protests on Wednesday against the government's judicial reforms. Many of them signed a petition vowing to refuse service if the new legislation passes. Others dropped refusal notices into ballot boxes.
We feel we're doing the right thing and that we are fighting for the democracy of Israel. This act that we are doing is to defend the democracy, and we feel that we, the reservists, are always the first to defend Israel.
I came here today to sign to convey the message that I will not serve a dictator, I will not serve in a dictatorship.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's drive to strip the Supreme Court of some of its review powers has triggered months of mass protests across Israel. Proponents of the changes say the court has become too interventionist and that the change will facilitate effective governance. Opponents say the court has a critical role in protecting civil rights and liberties. This latest action by reservists, who are from some of the military's most elite formations, has caused particular concern. Defence chiefs are worried that the protests risk compromising national security. The conscript military draws on reserves in wartime and requires that they undergo regular training. The Israeli military declined to comment.
The US and Russia are dangerously close to an armed conflict. This year, 2023, New Delhi will be the capital of global diplomacy. For a country as diverse as ours, with 88% of the population illiterate, it was a very big deal to write a constitution, and that too, the world's largest. Meanwhile, if we may, here's a Republic Day gift from India for the BBC. A list of suggestions for the BBC for their upcoming documentaries. Number 1, the Kohinoor and the colonial loot. Number 2, an outdated monarchy and unhealthy obsession with the royals. Number 3, racism in 2023. We're waiting. Email exchanges from inside the BBC, they talk about the risk of violating Indian laws. It's easier to rake up the freedom of speech debate, but does it give anyone a free pass to knowingly violate the law? America supports India because it needs India's support in return. And India is working with the US because it suits India's interests. This is how geopolitics works. Last night, he diffused a crisis with his defense minister. But today, Netanyahu was confronted with a new problem. His cabinet seems to have rebelled against him. The UK is looking at the Indian subcontinent to fill its coffers. That India seems to be negotiating from a position of power, like a partner and not a former colony.